All right. Back to work tonight, guys. Tuesday evening, March 29th, 2022. My name is Joseph, and as always, welcome back. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. Now, if you're watching for the first time tonight, it's great to have you with me. My job tonight, very important job tonight, my job is to help us find the best trades, setting up for Wednesday's kind of hump day trading session, right? Get a bunch of great trades on my radar for tomorrow. As you can see, charts are already in the background. We got the S&P, the E-mini, get the Nasdaq here tonight, and of course, we've got the oil locked and loaded for tomorrow. Glad to see you are here right along with us. There is no shortage of great trades setting up on our radar for Wednesday's trading session. I'm going to cover all my favorite trades in tonight's video. That way you know all the best setups to make some money tomorrow. I'm also going to cover some stuff to avoid because especially that oil chart. There's a couple charts here tonight. We'll see. There's always some tricks, right? There's always some curveballs out there, and I want to make sure you know how to capitalize on those traps, and rather than being the victim of those traps. I'm going to cover all my favorite stuff tonight to trade and to avoid. By the end of this video, you'll have a good roadmap for Wednesday's trading session. Now, before we jump in and get the party going, a lot we're going to cover here tonight. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I publish all the good stuff, all my best trade ideas every evening on this YouTube channel. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video. Don't forget, set your notifications. I publish these videos every evening. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. If you have any questions for me, don't forget, drop those questions in the comment section. I do personally answer all the questions in the comment section. Don't be shy asking questions. And as always, if you guys tune in, if you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making it, if you tune in every evening to get those charts right, to get that mind right for tomorrow, hit that like button for me. Appreciate you guys tuning in here tonight and carving some time here on this video newsletter. But not for the intro though, right? Let's get this party going. Wednesday is right around the corner. Yeah, where's the easy money? Where's the easy pickings? Where's the low-hanging fruit for Wednesday's trading session? Well, boy, as you can see, pretty much everything is bullish right now. We got a bull market on the S&P, got a bull market on the Nasdaq, and for now, we get a bull market here on the crude oil. You know, anytime we see, bullish trends like this, I'd love to buy a pullback. The problem is, though, we get a bunch of ranges here, right? Range there, range there, range there. And, I mentioned oil. Oil, you can't see it on this little slice of the chart here right now. You can't see it all, but there's one really big clue on oil that is going to be one of the big curveballs for tomorrow. So we're going to talk a lot about that here tonight, how to buy it, how to sell it, over on the E-minis, how to trade the breakouts going higher. Boy, we are now looking back at those all-time highs again, possibly. Wouldn't that be crazy? So, of course, we're looking for breakouts. We're trading pullbacks, and you know me. I love it when I see a range below us and major areas of risks above us. I would love to get some reversals. I think if we're lucky tomorrow, we can play both sides, selling off the high and buying off the low on the S&P and the Nasdaq. Don't forget, I'm going to cover all these trades in this video here tonight, so make sure you keep on watching. Now, tomorrow is a Wednesday. Let's make sure we all get on the same page here for tomorrow because we do have quite a bit of news here tomorrow. Now, of course, we're going into the end of the month. As I mentioned last night, anytime we have a transition into a new month, we do expect volatility to increase. So do anticipate some wider stops, some wider targets, and maybe some smaller position sizes in the trade room for the rest of the week here this week. Volatility does tend to pick up into the end of the month and into a new month. As we look at tomorrow, Wednesday, the 30th, got 2 more days left here of what's been really one of our best months of the year here so far in our trade room. We really have 3 things you want to keep in mind. One, of course, is that GDP report at 8:30 Eastern time. The second one is that petroleum status report that, of course, will only apply to crude oil futures. That's at 10:30. And then hidden right in the middle, we got a Fed speaker here. We got Barkin speaking at 10:15. The GDP report has the potential to be the biggest kind of scheduled report for tomorrow. But remember, the markets right now, boy, oh boy, there are 2 really big things that are affecting these markets right now. One of them is Ukraine. The other, of course, is the Fed, the rates, right, and of course, inflation, right? So we've really been listening in. For example, John Williams today, not Williams, Harker today at 10:45. Boy, did he come on the microphone today and just unloaded about inflation and rates. And so we're wondering if Barkin is going to talk about inflation rates. And honestly, this might be the biggest potential market mover here for tomorrow. We'll see what happens. It's always difficult to tell. John Williams this morning, he didn't do anything talking about rates. We barely heard it all from him. And then Harker came in later and really shook things up, talking about raising rates pretty aggressively. So we'll see if we'll see if Barkin's going to come in and give us a little bit of some fireworks here tomorrow between 9:15 and 9:30. And again, don't forget, if you're an oil trader like we are in our trade room, 10:30 Eastern time is the weekly petroleum status report. We got Esther George down there at 1 o'clock. If you're trading over lunch, usually lunchtime finishes up about 1 o'clock. So who knows? We might see a bit of an afternoon delight if Esther George can give us a little bit of a shot in the arm to get us going tomorrow afternoon, of course, in the early afternoon session. Those are the most important market-moving events tomorrow. As you can see, going to keep us going bright and early and hopefully finish up the session tomorrow morning. Pretty active session. Don't worry too much about that ADP employment number. It looks like a big report, but really the one you want to keep in mind is that employment number on Friday. That employment number on Friday, that's the one that we have to really keep our eyes on as we go into Friday. And speaking of Friday's employment number, on Thursday, of course, is the day before non-farm Friday. So make sure you come back and see me tomorrow night. We'll talk about kind of why that's important and how this OPEC report may really play into a pretty active day on Thursday. So we'll talk about the game plan for Thursday's trading session, because again, it's the head of the non-farm payroll. We'll cover that tomorrow night, so make sure you keep on tuning in. Let's get back to these charts though, shall we? Got a lot more to cover here tonight on this video. Now remember, I'm going to go through each of these markets and talk about where my favorite trades are for tomorrow, along with ways to keep yourself out of trouble. There are going to be learning opportunities throughout the entire video here tonight. There'll be money-making trade setups throughout the video here tonight. I'm going to talk about variations as we go through. So even though a lot of the pattern setups are very similar, the Nasdaq and the S&P, of course, are pretty similar. I'm going to keep the variations going. You're going to learn something new every step of this video here tonight. So make sure you watch all the way through until the end. And this little tip, I usually save the best stuff for last. So make sure you keep in touch here. Stay with us here on this video. Let's grab the S&P first. The E-mini, the ES 0622. What's the most important information right now on the E-mini? Well, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, what do we always expect? We expect a deep pullback and a retest of that high. And that's pretty much exactly where we are right now. This is something we talk about quite a bit on this video. Anytime we see a real strong move in one direction, we know the odds are almost guaranteed. In most cases, we're going to end up pulling back, attract buyers into the market, at a lower price, discounted price. And of course, the profit targets are back up to retest the high. That is pretty much the most important factor on this right now. We really are, we kind of just completed the mission for those buyers here today. Now, at this point now, it's kind of a waiting game. You know what I mean? Do we pull back and buy off support levels down below us? Do we break out and look for breakouts going higher? The buyers have plenty of space overhead until we start running into that 46.60 area. And then really the big target, the big next target now is that 4,700. It's actually 46.96 half, but 4,700, big round number up there. That's really where the buyers would like to go here. The sellers, of course, they'd like to get this thing right back off of those highs and take out some of these lows here. So, again, most important thing is the strong move up, the retest of that high. And, there isn't a really obvious range in the middle, but you can tell there's something there. You can definitely tell there was something there inside. It wasn't very easy to see overall. So, I would say that probably is a distant second place here as far as being kind of the most important information on this chart right now. So most important thing is we're bullish, but we really got to be careful here buying right now until we can see some more information. Where would the buyers like to buy? Buyers would love to buy pullbacks, right? Breakout pullbacks. I'd love to buy breakouts here right now. I've got 4 different breakouts we're going to talk about here tonight. A couple of them on the S&P, and again, we'll kind of go over them the rest of the video here tonight. So again, I'm not going to cover them all right now, but what I'll do is I'll talk about different breakouts as we go deeper into this video. We'll talk about 4 different breakout patterns that'll apply to the S&P and the Nasdaq. The buyers would also love to buy off of this support below at the low of the channel, buy off that pendulum support. So there's definitely plenty of buying opportunities for us here. How about some sellers? How would the bears want to get into this? Well, like I mentioned earlier, I always love it when I see a range below us and we're at a major area of resistance, because bears can easily now looking for a double top reversal, a crown reversal. So we'll talk about that short. And if you want kind of my kind of dream scenario here, I think there's an easy way for us to short this thing off the high and then pick it back up and buy it right back up again. So we definitely have some ways to capitalize on both sides of this market. Let's talk about breakouts first, because it's quite obvious this market is on a mission right now going higher. And so we've got the next level there, 46.60, 46.96 half. There are really 2 breakouts that really come to mind right now. Let me get rid of this small channel. That small channel really isn't that valuable right now. Let's talk about breakouts though. I'm going to cover a couple here and we'll cover more on the Nasdaq. For example, this is a very strong move higher right here. Okay, it doesn't look that strong as this move, but it's a pretty strong move higher. They separate off the moving average. It's a pretty strong move. So if we can see these buyers, if they can continue now to take this market higher, what do we call those? We call those 1, 2, 3 breakouts, right? There's a range below us. And so we already have the strong move. If the buyers can hold this, if they can jump for us now, this is definitely going to be a nice breakout pattern. Now, this 1, 2, 3 breakout, I'm not going to chase it as it goes higher. We'll want to find a channel, mark off that high, mark off that low. And remember, one of my favorite entries is the first test, right? As we always say, first test is the best test. And that first test could be a trap setup right below a prior swing. It could be a failure setup right below the moving average, or it could easily be a pullback combination. Trap setup, failure setup, and of course, pullback setup. Now, guys, I know most of you guys have already taken the free trading course. You learned all the patterns. You know what they look like. You know the rules to use. But if you're one of the few folks who have not taken that free trading class, the quick start class, you got to take that class, because then you'll know what to look for to take these trades here. What I'll do is I'll put a little link up here for you, a little pop up here for you in the upper right hand corner. Grab that link. I'll tell you, if you're like me, if you hate missing the best trades each day, or if you're sick and tired of taking so many losses, or maybe you just want an easy roadmap to follow to take the emotions out of your trading, that free trading class is a perfect roadmap for anyone who wants to earn daily income. You'll learn all the entry setups, all the rules, and there's hundreds of examples of how we apply things like this, right? 1, 2, 3 breakout into that first test is the best test. That way, once you grab that free class, you learn all the setups. The next time I say first test is the best test, you'll know exactly what we're looking for. And again, we know where the market wants to go at this point, right? It wants to get up around that 46.60 area. If you really want to fine tune the exit on that, think about the first leg and the third leg being very symmetrical. It's pretty easy to see here. We may get this market really pumping higher here for tomorrow. What will be a second breakout pattern we can use on this one? Well, again, think about what we have here. Strong move up, pull back, and we retest this area. Imagine now if we see a strong pop, right, like we saw here. Imagine we see the strong pop here. Now imagine we see another deep pullback. I would love to use this area right here. And usually what happens is it'll pop up, think about this area, right? This area right here will pretty much become your buy zone, okay? That area right there, with the goal of really using that prior top over there. So imagine we break out, all right? We break out, and all of a sudden, just like this, we see a sharp pullback now. What do? We follow the direction because we're very bullish at that point. Strong move says expect to retest. My favorite way to do it is to then wait for the bears to come in. Wait for the bears to try to sell this thing back down into that area. Remember, strong move up gets the momentum going. We're pulling back to areas of prior resistance, which are now support. Love those breakout pullbacks with a failure setup. Again, so we pop up. We pull back nice and sharp. We get underneath the moving average. We trap in those bears, right? We trap in those bears. We let those bears try to get short. I'm not in the business of trying to pick that bottom. I'm not a big fan of picking that bottom. Let those bears try to sell that thing short. Once they commit, now think about it. Strong move up. It's going to want to retest. Where are all the stops? Where's the pain? Where's the pain for those bears coming in? They're trying to sell short here. We can then buy into those stops. And then remember, we almost always get that little pullback, a little pullback right there. So again, we know where the target is at that point. We get that pop up. We buy that seller failure pattern, and we grab that first pullback off the low, take some profit off at that high, leave that runner for a potential measured move. You'll learn all about that stuff, of course, inside the free trading course. All right, so those are 2 of the 4 different types of breakouts we're going to talk about tonight. You better keep on watching because I'm going to cover 2 more of them, which are a little bit better than those 2, right? I'm going to cover those a little bit better later on in the video here tonight. All right, how do we sell off the high right now? How do we sell this market off the high? Well, again, we've already got the retest, so we're good to go there. The only problem we have right now is it's a very strong bull market. So I got to be worried about momentum. Location's great. Momentum is the problem right now. So what you want to do is you want to use the 2-try rule. You want to let those buyers try once, let them try twice. And then one of my favorite entries to sell short in a bull market is to look for a little trap above this high or a hidden channel. Draw that trend line off that low, up around that high, get a nice strong signal coming off a trap, off a channel, and we can drop this thing going lower here. Now remember, this is where the fun actually begins because now we can begin to trade the turn. We get the 1, the 2-try failure off some level of resistance overhead, and then as we go lower, we mark up that new low, we mark up that new high, and repeat after me, right? First test is the best test. You want that short off of that high. I love using traps, buyer failures, pullback combos. I'm not going to go over all those small details right now, but again, you'll see a lot of examples of that trade the turn. You'll see a lot of that stuff inside of that free trading class. Now, imagine now we get that short off the high, and now we find our way all the way back down. Or maybe we don't. Maybe it just kind of cruises lower here without us. I don't know. I'm not in the prediction business. I'm in the reaction business. I'm in the plan your trades and trade your plan business. And we do a very good job of that every morning in our trade room. You would love it. Definitely come out and join us 8 o'clock Eastern time. We open up. It's a great place to learn and earn and trade along with us. Now, we pull back here. Okay, we're an overall bull market. But here's the problem. We've got rotation off the high. You're going to learn about this in the video classes here. Rotation off the high. This is a really big one because whenever we get, and again, there's probably going to be a range up here, but whenever we go up and then come all the way back down again, yeah, we're still overall a bull market, but this is a really, really deep pullback. And whenever we get those really deep pullbacks, what's the problem? Again, momentum. And whenever we get a problem with momentum, we then use those 2-try failures, okay? We look for the 1-try for the bears, the 2-try for the bears. Now, I'll be honest, we're not going to need to be as patient on this one because we have an overall bull market. So once those bears try twice here, I can draw a trend line right there, and I can buy off that trend line. I can think about stops and buy right into those stop losses. The reality, though, is this could be here, Or it could be all the way down here, 1, 2, and then back up from there. I want to use that 2-try failure. Now remember, the 2-try failure is just the appetizer. Okay, once we get down, again, could be here, could be here. Once we get down into that area, now remember, trade the turn. Let those bears try once, let them try twice. Stops are now sit and duck right above those highs. It's an overall bull market. We're at support levels below a trading range. This is easy pickings. Now, we blast back up. We're buying that, again, off a trend line, off a trap level. We're buying stops right there. As we go higher now, where does the market want to go? The market's going to want to go right back up and retest those highs again here. Now, trade that turn, find that new channel, mark that new low. First test is the best test. Grab that trap, grab that failure, grab that pullback combo. Those are going to be some really nice trades here. And again, could be here, could be here. Okay. Now, there's also a chance this thing completely rolls over and takes off the downside. Let's talk about that a little bit more here on the NASDAQ. I also want to talk about what happens if it goes sideways up here. You know, what if the market starts to go sideways up here? What do we do then? Let's cover that in the NASDAQ here. Let's keep this party going here tonight over on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, you'll notice, is pretty similar to the S&P. It usually is pretty similar. Every once in a while, you'll see a little bit of difference there. Most important factor right now, you can see same thing as the S&P. We began the day today with a very strong move. We, of course, see that really deep pullback. Deep pullbacks are notorious for those 1 tries, 2 tries, and then back up into that trading range. Pretty much par for the course on a deep pullback off the high. We now, just like on the S&P, we pretty much find ourselves in a bull market, but we're in a tough spot to get long right now. Not only do we have the previous high, right? But we also, of course, have what was a little more obvious of a trading range. NASDAQ was pretty clearly a range there between 7 a.m. and about 10 a.m. this morning. And looky, look where we are. The amount we go below the range, we call these the pendulum swing. It's amazing how they took out that pendulum swing. And we had this level last night, if you recall, that 15,256. That was on our radar last night. It's a major swing high, major weekly high from a few weeks ago. So we already knew that 256 level was on our radar to begin with, but it's a very good example, though, of how that pendulum swing, it's amazing. It's amazing how those pendulum swings really work. So, that's, again, most important thing here is strong move up, retest. We're definitely bullish, but again, we're sitting right at some major highs here, and of course, that pendulum swing, the range below us, of course, right, does open the door here for some sellers and some rotation trading. Now, talking about breakouts here, right? The buyers, of course, buyers would love to buy some breakouts. Buyers would love to buy some of these deep pullbacks. The sellers would love to short off the high, right? Pretty much exactly like we talked about on the E-mini. Now, speaking of that, we talked about that 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern, okay? That one, of course, is pretty simple. 1, 2, 3 breakout. First test is the best test. Roping those bears with those traps, those failures, and just simply hit them right where it hurts. Trap, failure, and again, don't forget, first leg, third leg are oftentimes identical in size. That'll help you kind of fine-tune those targets here. We also talked about if the market was to jump higher, how we could use really this whole area. If we jump up and then pull back like we saw today, could easily have some history repeating itself. Grab that failure pattern below the moving average. Okay, hopefully it won't be as deep of a pullback as this one was, but grab that failure pattern, trading those stops, grab that pullback. Okay, we talked about that on the S&P. Strong move up, wants to retest the high, roping those bears below the moving average, grab that first pullback off the moving average as we go higher. That's a pretty easy one there. How about one more? How about 2 more? Here's a few more I want you guys to think about here. In fact, let's cover one more here. And I'll save another one here for the oil, because there's one breakout pattern on oil that I think is most likely on the oil. So you better hold on until we get a little bit later on in the video, and we'll talk about that oil breakout. Here's another one, okay? Third one on the breakouts. Pop and grind. Pop and grind could easily happen here because of kind of this short squeeze going on after that big pullback, right? Once the pandemic hit, right? So we know we have potential for a short squeeze. That's usually what causes these types of moves. These are bears getting out of positions, previous positions from months and months and months ago. Now, if it pops and grinds like this, what do? We draw that trend line right off that high. We bring it right down to that low. We wait for that deep pullback, grab that trap, get underneath that moving average, get that failure pattern. Again, you're going to see a lot of examples of these, those traps, those failures, those pullbacks. You'll see a lot of examples in that free course I mentioned earlier. Remember, first leg, third leg are oftentimes identical in size. It'll help you figure out kind of where that target is as we go. I've got some big objectives overhead here, that 395, that 458. The buyers would really like to get to that 15,600. 15,600 is kind of the granddaddy of the targets there later on this week. We'll see. We'll see if we can get there for tomorrow. So again, we've covered 3 breakout patterns going higher here right now. Wait, here's one more though. What if we jump up and we go sideways up here? How do we trade that? How do we trade a bull market into a trading range? Well, there are 3 ways to do it. You ready? Three pretty easy ways to make money in a bull market into a trading range. First things first, find the range. Then we're going to use that range to determine where our buy zone is. Okay, the size of that trading range will determine where that buy zone is. You'll learn more about that in that free video class I mentioned linked up before. I'll tell you right now, just to take that course, just to learn this technique is worth it really is worth its weight in gold or oil or whatever market you're trading. It really is worth it because ranges are so valuable. Anyways, find that prior swing or find that support level below the trading range. Right, our buy zone as we call it. Now, eventually the buyers will run out of bullets. Wait for the pullback. Wait for that pullback. Now, don't try to pick the bottom. Picking bottoms, all you end up with is a handful of you-know-what. Don't pick the bottom. Wait for the bears to come in and try to get short. Once they do, now you know where their pain is, and you can buy right into those stop losses. Now, your job ain't over yet. Oh, no. The failure is just the party getting started. Now we mark up that high. We mark up that low, and we trade the turn, right? Trade the turn. The objective here is to get that turn, right, on the ahead of that other side of that range. And remember, third one, the amount of the move below the range is the amount of the move above the range. We know where the market wants to go next. Take some profit off at the high of that range, some profit off at the pendulum swing, and then that's where you look for the breakout, right? It's a 1, 2, 3 breakout. Mark that high, find that channel, buy that first test. Or maybe it's a breakout pullback, strong move up. Deep pullback, get underneath the moving average, failure pullback combo, right? We talked about that. Or maybe it's a pop and grind. Those are very common. Mark up that high, mark up that low, find that channel, buy that first pullback. Okay, those are the 3 ways I like to trade ranges. Again, find the buy zone below the range, trade the failure. Then trade the turn. First test is the best test. Once we get to the opposite side of that range, look for the breakout, the pendulum swing. If we get that, then of course we find that new channel drawn off the high, find that low, and we get ready for that first pullback. Again, it could be a trap, could be a failure, could be a pullback combination. Easy money when it comes to ranges. This is why I always tell people you almost wish every day was one big fat range, just because it does make the game plan pretty easy. Okay, so if we do end up popping up, and this again, go for the S&P too. The S&P will also apply this well. If we get that range up there, there's that failure, there's that pullback, there's that breakout. Again, we've talked about 3 breakouts here tonight already. We'll cover a few more, or we'll cover one more here on the crude oil. Now, how do we sell this market? It's pretty much the same idea we talked about here on the S&P. One of them would be, again, buyers once, buyers twice. I'd love to get some sort of hidden channel or a little trap high up there for that short. Once we get that short going lower, we find that new channel, we grab that first test, and we sell it off the high of that new channel. Okay? One try for the buyers, two try for the buyers. Makes sense, right? We go up. Buyers try once, buyers try twice. Find that hidden channel, sell it off the top of that channel. Makes sense? That's exactly what we're looking for over here. Okay? Selling that failure, selling that, again, trap, failure, pullback combo off the high. We then end up down around these lows. It's a very deep pullback. Whenever we see a really deep pullback, what do? We want to be a buyer because we have all that momentum, but at the same time, we got to respect the bears. 1, 2, back up. So we pull back all the way down. We roll. Again, we're not trying to pick a bottom on this. We wait for the bears to dig their own grave pretty much, right? We let those bears wrap that rope right around their neck. We know exactly now where those stops are. And we can now look for those buys now going right into those stop losses. And if it really starts to punch for us, we mark up that new high, mark up that new low. We look for those traps, and we grab those traps. Traps are where the money is, right? So again, we go back. Bears try once, bears try twice. There's your failure. Mark up that new channel. Find those traps. Again, traps are where the money is. You can just look left. You can see for yourself, right? Traps where the money is off the low of that new channel. Same idea, trading that turn. Now, how do we sell this thing down here, right? Can I sell down here? Well, look what happened back here. So deep pullback. If the bears can hold that pullback, it's basically game over here for the buyers. So if we can get down this area, if the bears... Again, once, twice, we're going back higher. But if the bears can get their act together here, something changes. Let's say there's more, some more violence escalates in Ukraine. We heard some pretty what's the word here? Pretty encouraging dialogue, I guess, today. They said, I guess, Russia is withdrawing troops out of Kiev. It's a little bit tough. It's a lot of back and forth right now. But let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say it reverses. Let's say the violence escalates. I don't know, right? Something happens overnight. The bears come in and they jump off that moving average now. Yeah, see, now that's a 1, 2, 3 reversal. Okay, remember, they got to hold it. It's not enough to get a strong pullback in the bull market. They got to hold it. And now we know where that channel is. We know there's a range there. So they have to hold that pullback. If they can hold that pullback and jump and go lower, no, we're not going to chase it lower. We don't want to sell low. We want to sell high, right? So find that new channel, find those traps above those highs. And again, we've talked quite a bit about this already. Grab that first test. Could be a trap. Could be a failure off the moving average, could be a pullback combination as we go lower here. I would also, too, keep an eye on a pop and grind. So we end up down right on those lows. And instead of the bears coming in, trying once, trying twice, we kind of grind down. You know what I mean? We kind of grind lower here overnight. Definitely mark up that high, that low, find that high, look left, find your swings, get back above prior swings for traps, for failures, for pullback combos. Again, I'm kind of rushing through this right now. We're running a little bit late on this video, but you'll see a lot more examples of that in the trade room. Obviously, we'll do it together, and in that free trading class, I'll talk more about the entry timing and when to take them, when to sit on hands, things like that. Where do the bears want to get to right now? What do you think? Well, we know the bears have this big range down here, all the way back there. Right, so this will be a very good area for the bears to want to get to. That's last week's close. So the ideal, kind of the ideal scenario here for the bears would be take out that 1480, 850 area, and then try to get down into that prior week close. That'd be kind of where the bears would love to get to here for tomorrow. But again, don't be surprised though here if we drop and get that right back up again, because again, low of the channel, low of the trading range, very strong bull market right now. All right, I think we've covered most of those variations now here. between the Nasdaq and the S&P. The Nasdaq and the S&P are very, very similar in that situation. Let's talk about the oil here. I would say oil probably is the one market right now that might be a little bit of a head fake for tomorrow. I think there definitely is potential for some curveballs here. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, I think probably the biggest clue right now. I don't know. There's a lot of different clues in this chart. One of them, maybe not the biggest clue, but one of them is the strength of that move down. Because you know me, anytime we see a real strong move in one direction, do not be surprised if we end up right back at those lows. Okay? Do not be surprised if this is just a big move down, a deep pullback, and right back to those lows here. Okay, the Bears are obviously very strong going lower there. They haven't retested that low yet, and there's a big open, kind of unfinished business. Okay, at that 98.44 low. That is a really big part of this because it will affect how we trade these pullbacks. It definitely will affect how we trade these pullbacks here. Second big clue is definitely the 1, 2, 3 reversal pattern. As we always say, anytime the market goes 1, 2, 3 and jumps off that moving average, what do? Yeah, you mark up the high, you mark up that low, and what do? You buy the first test. And so if you learn one thing from this video tonight, let these 1, 2, 3 reversal patterns, again, 1, 2, the real secret is that jump going higher, right? That jump going higher. And of course, you know me, I love to find those traps down around the low of those channels. So bottom line is the bulls definitely have control of this. They definitely have control of this momentum for now. I don't know how much longer they will have it, right? It may not last very much longer. There's one more clue here. And we've been talking about this pretty much all month, really. Oil is moving in $5 moves right now. We're going from 115 to 110 to 105 to 100. We talked about this last night on the video. We talked about the fact that they had closed firmly below this 105 area, and we anticipated this would mean a move back to 100. Shocker. That's exactly what happened. Now, look where we ended up. We went from 100, reversal, and now we're back here at 105. Now, where do you think, can you guess, where do you think these buyers might want to go next? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say maybe 110, possibly 110. We're gonna keep milking that cow until it runs out of milk because it's obviously this is exactly what the personality of oil is right now. So may not be forever, but while the volatility is high, while the ranges are big, $5 moves are one of the easiest pieces of this puzzle here right now for the oil. So how do we buy it? How do we sell it? Again, there's a little tricky. The tricky part right now is that move. That move right there is what makes this thing a little more tricky. For example, as we go lower, the buyers want to buy here. The buyers want to buy here, right? The bears, of course, can sell it as it goes lower, and the bears can sell it off these areas of resistance. How do we buy it first, though? As we pull back, when I've got that big move staring right down the chart there, what I'll do is, this is exactly where I'll use those 1, 2 failures. 1, 2, and then back up from there. That is exactly, these are exactly the scenario where you're looking for those 1, 2 try failures here because of that big move down here. Now, maybe we get a little channel, off that high, off that low, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for here right now. I'm trying to think, okay, does this thing, for example, do we pop higher here, draw another channel off that one, a little wider channel, you know what I mean? Can I get that new channel there, get those bears coming in, 1, 2, and then hit them again with those stops, okay? That's when to do it. Or, in all reality, probably the best trade we could take tomorrow would be if we end up all the way back at that low. It's kind of the inverse of what the S&P and the Nasdaq's doing. So now we got that retest, and now same thing, right? Now we go, okay, bears once, bears twice, grab those stops. And this one could get good because now at this point now that 105 becomes the next rotation going higher. If I can get those bears trying once, trying twice here, then we can grab that new channel. And again, I won't bore you with the details here, but first test off the low of that channel. And again, we think that 105 area will be a good target as we go back higher again. 2 try failure because momentum is so strong for the bears. Okay, we want to buy off that support level, but because momentum is so strong, a 2-try failure. And then again, with that turn, just we saw here, with that turn, first test is the best test. Same idea right there. Okay, so just let history keep on telling you. Just keep looking left and keep following that same game plan. Now, how do we sell it as we go lower? All right, this is exactly where you're going to want those traps. Because as we get closer to that low, the problem with being a bear right now is that it's a bull momentum. The buyers have control. The buyers are jumping off the moving average right now. When the bears have control, they'll jump away from the moving average. But now the buyers jump right there. They jump right here. The buyers have control. So the problem we have right now is that in order for me to want to be a seller, I have to either take a big gamble and just sell into it, or I have to wait for momentum to turn for the sellers and then structure my trade. But the problem is there's not much space down here. So this is where traps come in handy. Let's say now we pull back, moving average comes over, and we begin to grind. Okay, a grind would be great right now because that would be what we could use there, mark off that low, mark off that high, and this would really be probably the best possible scenario for a short here tomorrow. It's that pop and grind as we go. Draw that trend line right down those lows, mark it off the big high up there, look left, find that trap. And again, I say trap, it could be a trap, could be a failure pattern, but you want to get it up around the high of that channel. And again, we get a pretty good idea of where this market wants to go on that. Or maybe we simply take it off the downside, the bears come in, they hold the pullback, and we break through it. What do you do in that situation? You find that new channel. We've talked about 3 different breakouts tonight, and so apply those 3 breakout patterns as we go lower. Again, one of them, the easy one, is that 1, 2, 3 breakout. Okay, and obviously at that point, where are we going? Back to 95. 95 is an easy target now. There's a range down there because, again, we keep making these big $5 increments. So that's how we trade this thing as it goes lower here. If it goes sideways, really, if it goes sideways here, that's probably the best possible scenario for the buyers. That would probably be the most profitable scenario for the buyers here, because if we can go sideways, the longer we sit and go sideways, the more of a magnet this area becomes. And as I mentioned earlier before, right, we've got the pull back, find support, use those failure patterns, grab that first pullback. This is why I'd say it's probably the best possible scenario for the buyers here, because it gives them so many options. They can buy that failure, they can buy that first test. Again, the pendulum swing becomes the objective on the other side, and this could easily turn into a 1, 2, 3 breakout or a short squeeze, pop and grind. You know what I mean? We've talked about these breakouts before. We know where the market wants to go at that point. It's just a matter of going out and finding that new channel and grabbing that first pullback as we go. All right. And again, I'm going a little bit fast here through it right now, but we've covered all these patterns already here in this video. And I got to say, guys, if you're still watching this video right now, then you are exactly the person I make these lessons for, right? I do not need to be putting all this time into these videos here on YouTube. I do it because I know a lot of very committed people are working hard to make a career out of trading. I would have killed to have something like this when I was just getting started as well. So I'll tell you right now, if you're committed enough to be watching this video all the way through to this, you got to find a way to get registered as a member, as a student, and get with me in the trade room. Because if you have this amount of commitment on YouTube, I can only imagine how well you'll do with us every morning, trading along with all the stuff right in front of you, all the worksheets, all the tools in front of you. You're going to do very well with us in the trade room. So definitely get registered as a member. Our trade room opens up every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, one more breakout as we go. One more breakout as we go here. How about a 2-try trap? Okay, this is one that has very good potential for tomorrow, right? Strong move up, shallow pullback. Again, this is the 4th breakout pattern. Strong move up, shallow pullback, higher high in price. I'm going to get a little bit aggressive on this one because, again, we kind of know where this thing wants to go right now. That 2-try trap, strong move up, right? Gets that momentum going. Shallow pullback drives the buyers crazy. The higher high confirms the move. Trap, baby. Great one there. That's a great looking pullback. Or, and again, or 1, 2, 3. Find that find that channel, drill down, find your entry. We've talked about these breakout patterns going higher here as well. How would I sell this thing off the high up here? How would I sell it off the high? We'll finish up on the short off the high here. There are two ways. Oh, there's a few more than that, but we'll cover two here tonight on the video. There are two ways to do it. One will be to wait for the pop up, grab a crown reversal. 1, 2, again, trap, hidden channel, short that sucker, back down, grab that new channel, trade the turn, right? Same idea as selling off the high of the S&P and the Nasdaq. Another one too, let's say we do pop up, we get a quick pullback, we double top. Now you can get a lot more aggressive on it. Now it's 1, it's 2. Now find that trend line. You know what I mean? If we can get that pop up and retest, we can get a lot more aggressive. The times when you got to be careful is when it pops up and you haven't retested yet. That's why we call those crown reversals, because they really are, they're more aggressive trades, right? Makes sense? You want to be a little more patient, more specific until they retest that high. But once, again, if it pops up and they retest that high, remember, mission accomplished. Just like in the S&P and the Nasdaq. Then we got the 1, the 2. You're still going to wait for the 2 tries, but you don't have to be so precise on the entry at that point, because now all those stops are hanging out right below that low, and you can get that drop off the high, find that channel, and take that first test as we go here. So plenty of ways to make some money on Wednesday. Remember to keep your eyes on that. If you're trading oil tomorrow, we get the inventory, the weekly report on 10:30 tomorrow. So be aware of that. And don't forget, we are planning our trades for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time in our trade room. We're going to trade the plan together. Hopefully, I'll see you there with you tomorrow morning. I'll put all of the membership links. I'll put all the details. You guys need to get registered. We get a bunch of great specials going on right now for our trade room sessions. I'll put all that information for you right in the description of the YouTube video. Don't be afraid to call the office if you guys have any questions. I know I talked pretty quickly here in this video because I want to get it all in here in a short period of time, but we'll slow it down, make sure everything you need is there. Computer, software, broker, get everything ready to go, that we get a good foundation to come out and join us every morning and succeed and trade along with us every day in our trade room. Call that toll-free phone number. I'll be here to answer the call, answer the questions, make sure we get that foundation laid. You're going to love the trade room. You'll love the video classes. You're going to love the group we have here every morning at the opening bell. Again, don't be shy about typing those questions in if you got them in the comment section below. And I hope by now you subscribe to our channel. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it tonight. And we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow morning as a brand new student. We open up at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Friday. If not tomorrow, though, you better come back and see me tomorrow night, because we're talking about Thursday's trading session, again, with Non-Farm Friday right around the corner. Tomorrow, again, not tomorrow, but Thursday's session will be a little bit of a twist. So we'll talk more about that here tomorrow night on the next edition of our nightly newsletter. But guys, that's it for me. Rest up. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow. My name is Joseph. Be well. Be nice to each other, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.